Hey everybody, and welcome to another overview of 3 lefty-friendly folding knives. If you missed my first video with 3 additional knives, I'll leave the link in the description. Today I've got 3 new knives to go over with you guys. 3, maybe not necessarily my favorite knives in my EDC collection, but 3 knives that I think are really great for lefties. I've got the Boker Kalashnikov, the MKM Isonzo, and the TOPS Mini Scandi Folder, the MSF 4.0. I think I'll clear out these two, and we'll start with the Boker Kalashnikov. This is the left-handed version of the seemingly very famous Boker Kalashnikov in the Desert Warrior color scheme. At the time I purchased this knife a few years ago, it was a Blade HQ exclusive, and as far as I know, it still is. Though up to a few days ago when I last checked, it is now available in D2 steel over the AUS 8 version, which I have here. So the steel that is available to you today is probably much better than the AUS 8 steel that I've got on this guy. It's essentially a mirror image of the original BK. Just with the button lock being switched to the other side of the knife, as well as the pocket clip, which is not reversible. Very easy to operate this Kalashnikov. All you do is put a little pressure on the button lock and the knife just flies right open. It's loud, it's snap. I've used this quite a bit. It's got some glue or something on it right now, but it's settled up really nicely over time. And through a few sharpenings. I would have thought that this coating would, scratch up more or maybe start to come off, but it hasn't. It stayed on very well. The pocket clip is probably one of the largest I've ever seen on any folding knife, but it does do its job. Probably not the sliciest knife that I have, but it is a lot of fun to deploy. I don't know why. I just really, something about that auto button lock is just really fun, really gratifying. Ergonomics are great, really easy to get a 4-finger purchase with my medium large hands, I guess you would say. Very easy to operate, carries well in the pocket, even though it is quite a bit bigger than some of the other folders in my collection. But I have no huge complaints about this knife. It's a nice knife. If you don't have a Kalashnikov yet and you're left-handed, this might be your only place to find one, is at Blade HQ. If somebody knows about another place to find a Kalashnikov for left-handers, let me know. Next up is the MKM Isonzo. Manufactured in Italy, the Maniago knife maker's Isonzo is a very interesting knife, in my opinion. Designed by Jesper Voxnes, I believe his name is, who has designed several other flippers for companies such as Giant Mouse and CRKT, also designed the Isonzo. It comes in multiple colorways, and I believe there are also 3 different blade shapes available. You've got a clip point, a hawksbill like this version, and a sheep's foot / cleaver blade. So you've got a lot of different options with the MKM Isonzo to kind of suit your various tastes or style or whatever. The very minimal wire pocket clip is reversible and carries really securely in your pocket. I've never had an issue with it. But you've now got 2 different ways to open this knife. You can open it with your thumb, or you can open it by depressing that flipper tab. So to me, that's pretty cool. Anytime you put in additional ways to fidget with a knife, you've got me hooked. And the liner lock is also very easy to manipulate. It's got some good grooves in it that make it easy for lefties to just push that liner aside and close the blade safely. If you're cutting it on a daily basis, this hawksbill blade is just fantastic at doing that. It's also, the blade is also really thick considering the length of the blade. It's very sturdy. Locks up great. Very little wiggle or very little noise. I really, really like this Isonzo. This is probably my favorite version of it. You know, I don't know what to say about this carabiner loop situated on the butt of the handle. You know, I suppose you could you could make a lanyard there, or, you know, maybe you could use it as a bottle opener or something. I've never tried that. But surprisingly, it does not really, you know, get in the way of a comfortable grip on the knife. I also like this hawksbill because you can get a 4-finger grip with this thing, which is great on a smaller knife of its size. I'm not worried about cutting my finger. I feel like I've got a good purchase on it. Good jimping here. You just have holding this thing in your hand, you feel like it's not too small, and you have plenty of control over it. It feels very safe, and I just love the design of it. I feel like it's a very well thought out, interesting design. Definitely recommend. Next up is the TOPS Knives Mini Scandi Folder, the MSF 4.0. Designed by TOPS team in America and manufactured by Mazara Knives in Italy, the TOPS MSF 4.0 is just built like a brick. Designed by Leo Espinoza, who also designed the MSK, which is the Mini Scandi neck knife. It definitely does pick up some cues from that knife, I would say, after owning one. The blade for one is very similar to the MSK, just quite a bit larger. And that Scandi grind is just, it looks cool, it cuts great, and it also sharpens very easily. It's just kind of a no-nonsense blade shape that is just going to do what it is supposed to do. The level of detail that they've put into this MSF 4.0 is just fantastic. You know, I think this knife is about $120, $150 retail, and I think you absolutely get what you pay for with this. A folding knife that's meant to be used outdoors, with a blade that has excellent edge retention and corrosion resistance is just, you know, that's a great thing about the MSF 4.0. That's what you're going to get. The pocket clip is reversible. You've also got a small hole to put a lanyard if you want a lanyard. And the liner lock is it's a really large liner lock, and with the ridging they've put in there, it's really, really easy for a lefty to close that knife. Really fidgety. I love the way this thing just flies open when you hit that flipper tab. I can't say enough good things about this TOPS MSF 4.0. If you don't have a TOPS yet and you want a folder, this might be your best option. I'm not sure how many folding knives TOPS makes. Thanks again for joining me today for an overview of 3 additional lefty-friendly knives from my collection. I think they're good options to. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and leave a like or a comment below. And thanks again for bearing with me. I'm trying to get better at this knife overview thing. I think the next few videos I post will be on some of the fixed blades from my collection. Pros and cons of carrying fixed blades, you know, looking at different sizes. Maybe you guys have some ideas for me, as if there's something that you'd like to see me cover, or a particular knife that you'd like an overview of in more detail. Go ahead and let me know.